Joe Flurry, are you,
Hey, Chuck. Yep.
how about now?
I can hear you guys now.
Okay, so you can hear us now and see us, or you know,
No, I can't see you guys.
so this is what we need to do.
Now we can.
Okay, great. All right. Hello, everyone. This is Chuck Taroni, Reading's Conservation Administrator. This meeting is being conducted in person and remote format consistent with Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, which further extend the COVID-19 measures regarding remote participation in public meetings until June 30th, 2027.
Excuse me, can I interrupt for a second? Did you start the recording?
No, but I'll do it.
After the bid.
I can do it now. Hold on a second, you guys.
I feel like I'm missing the national anthem.
All right, so I'm recording now. Please note that not all items listed may be in fact discussed, and other items not listed may be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. This agenda includes those items which can be reasonably anticipated to be discussed at the meeting. Please note that this meeting is being recorded. All materials for this meeting can be found at the Conservation Division page under Projects by Year. Brian Bowe, the Commission Chair, will facilitate the meeting. Please note that there will be a public comment period at the end of each hearing. Each vote taken tonight will be conducted by roll call, and we'll begin with a roll call attendance. Brian, can you review the agenda and take the roll call attendance?
Sure. I'll start with attendance first. Let's start with the online. Joe, can you go first?
Yeah, Joseph Fleury, Associate Commissioner, present.
Walter.
Walter Talbot, member present.
To Michelle, member present.
Rick Keel, member present.
Xerox Delico, member present.
Martha Moore, Vice Chair present.
Brian Bowe, Chair present. Now, quickly summarize the agenda. We have a couple of hearings tonight. First one, the continuation of the public hearing on notice of intent for 43 Arcadia. That'll be followed by opening a public hearing on notice of intent for 281 Main Street. That's it for hearings tonight. Then we have a number of discussion and vote items, including a discussion of the wetland fees, a violation of 125 Horse Street, and then evaluation of a tree at 451 Pearl Street. All new business. Chuck has his conservation / DPW meeting, administrative report, and then we have some minutes for approval. Having said that, we can get to the first hearing, which is 43 Arcadia. Does somebody want to step to the podium and introduce themselves for that?
Jeff, can you put my segment up?
I sure can.
Thank you so much. For the record, my name is Mary Trudeau and I'm representing the Sherburns this evening. We were before you perhaps a month ago with our initial presentation of our notice of intent for the construction of an ADU pertinent to the existing single family house on 43 Arcadia. Since that time, we've had to make several plan changes, and we have also changed the regulations that we had filed on. I had filed as new construction under the Riverfront Protection Area Act. After the meeting, Chuck shared with me an email that he had from Alicia Gallen, who is our circuit rider for this district. And Alicia felt very strongly that this was a redevelopment project. So I have rewritten my description of work to show where and where not we comply with the redevelopment standard regulations. And that was submitted to you, I think, about a week ago. You should have it in your packet. So we can come back to that, but I wanted to go over a little bit of the change on the site plan. We had initially shown an independent driveway with our 900 square foot ADU, and Reading has a policy that I believe is administered by your building department and engineering department that requires that driveways be at least 125 feet from each other. our driveways did not and cannot meet that because of the frontage that we have for this particular lot. So we talked to the building inspector and he said he is willing to issue a building permit for an ADU if we can show that we can share the existing driveway on the lot. And I think that that is more than possible. Because ideally, a driveway would be very helpful for the ADU. And we have some confidence that the town of Reading may review its policies and regulations with respect to ADUs. We have maintained the size of our infiltration system, which had been sized to handle not only the roof runoff for the ADU, but any runoff from the proposed driveway. So even though we are not proposing a driveway at this point in time, we have created stormwater volume compensation for it in our infiltration system that's associated with the ADU. If the driveway never comes to pass, the ADU is just oversized. But we at some point anticipate coming back to you with perhaps an amendment, or if it's years in the future with a new notice of intent filing. There was a question from Mr. Talbot, I believe, last week about the rainfall data that had been used to size the infiltration system. And I went back to the engineer and he had not run the calculations initially with the, I'm gonna say NOAA, but I might have those letters.
NOAA 14, yeah.
Yes. So he ran the system again with the NOAA 14 and it remains oversized even if we put the driveway back in using that rainfall data. So despite the fact that he had sized it initially for a smaller rain event, the system does have the capacity to handle the NOAA data rain event as well for the roof and for the driveway if that should ever come to pass. The other issue that we had talked about and I submitted additional information for is we had talked about the potential of doing mitigation on this site with respect to the control of non-native and invasive plant species in the 0 to 25-foot buffer zone. If you recall, the existing fence runs kind of along the 25-foot buffer zone. It might be a foot or two off in some places, but basically we have 2,500 square feet or 2,400 square feet of area behind our fence that is currently, for lack of a better word, infested with non-native and invasive plant species. So I've given you a little plan that's just, I took a template off of an invasive plant species site and filled it out for this site. I have included in the plan the option to use herbicides. I know we discussed that at our site, at our meeting here a month ago. And there was concern that because the area that we're proposing to do the mitigation on may actually belong to the town as it's off of the lot, that the town would not permit the use of herbicides on their property. So I've given it to you both ways in our plan, that we could do the work strictly by hand with weed wrenches, pulling, culling, or we could do a combination of culling and treating with hand applied herbicide. And that's really up to the commission which way they are comfortable reviewing this. With respect to the change in our filing under redevelopment versus new construction, we had an issue with compliance with a portion of the regulations. The redevelopment standard talks about that you can alter 10% or 5,000 square feet of your riverfront area, but we're already over that. Like our existing site condition is that we have just under 6,000 square feet of existing impervious surface. If you've been out to the site, you'll know that there's the existing house, the existing driveway, there's some walkways, but there's also a pool and a patio out there, which all add up to that significant amount of impervious surfaces. The ADU and the surfaces associated with that add an additional 1,276 square feet of impervious surface to the site, which is about a 5.7% increase. And it brings us to, I think just about, just under 7,200 square feet of impervious surface. Because our mitigation was not quite 2 to 1 for the 1,276 square feet, we've also proposed removing the existing shed, which arguably creates a vegetated or permeable surface in both the inner and the outer riparian zone because it straddles them. So that gives us another 113 square feet. So we're at 2,513 square feet of mitigation proposed for the 1,276 square feet of additional impervious surface that doesn't fall under the threshold of allowed disturbance in the riverfront area. And that's basically following their guidance that you want to do your restoration as close to the river as you can, and you want to hit that magic 2-for-1 number, and we're very close. We are limited on this lot in terms of what other mitigation we can do. One, because it's a small lot, and two, partly because of the pool, that we don't want to plant a lot of big trees around the yard because they'll cast shade and someone is just going to take them down because they won't be able to use their pool. If the commission felt that our mitigation was not adequate, we had discussed last week the issues with planting new shrubs in the very well vegetated 0 to 25 foot zone. I still would not recommend that because I don't think there's enough shade or water supply to feed new shrubs, but you could arguably put new shrubs in front of the fence, which would put it in like the 26 to 28 foot buffer zone if the commission felt that that was a worthy thing. I would recommend either small shrubs like a witch hazel or a small tree like a witch hazel or a shrub, just because of the size available there, the spacing and the overstory canopy from the woods that border the river, that I think it would be easier to get shrubs to survive there than it would be to get new trees to break through that canopy. With that, I'm going to turn it over to questions because I think I've run out of tidbits, but
Okay, thank you.
thanks.
And thanks for redoing the NOI, the different approach.
Oh.
That's helpful. Any questions from the commission?
The shed you're talking about removing is on the far left, just behind the fence by the ADU.
Yeah, it's 113 square feet of impervious surface, split mostly into, it's not quite 50-50, but it goes into both the 0 to 100 and the 100 to 200.
And would you put lawn there?
Yeah, I think so. We would replant it with vegetation.
When you say, where's the current driveway, and when you say you're going to share the driveway in the new plan, how would that be?
The building inspector is saying that we need to be able to park 4 cars in
Oh,
this
okay.
driveway right here.
Okay,
So, I mean, this looks like a long walk to the ADU, but they only have 140 feet of frontage. So it's, you know, a 50-foot walk. It's
so you're not adding, so the plan is not to add another driveway in the future, right?
not, well, ideally, they would have loved to have had a driveway that came like right here,
Right.
but Reading does not allow driveways to be less than 125 feet. So until they change that standard, or they would go to, the applicants would go to the Board of Appeals and, you know, get a
Because
variance.
the reason for asking that is because then that increases your impervious surface.
Exactly.
Even.
It would increase our impervious surface. However, we have already sized the infiltration system to handle that. We just did not reduce it in size when we took out the driveway. So if we would come before you at some point in the future for a second driveway, we would have the infiltration system in place. That's the only
I
advantage.
guess it
to us.
affects the mitigation.
It would affect, yes, we would have to do more mitigation because we don't have 2-for-1, including the 1,200 square or the 600 square feet that the driveway would be. We would need another 1,200 square feet of something.
At this point, review the plan as
Yeah,
it currently
as
is, and if it changes in the future,
Yeah, I just don't want to be deceptive about why we're not
I appreciate it.
pulling the driveway. Or why
Are
we're
you
not.
going to put some sort of a paved walkway from the existing driveway to the ADU?
I think it would be permeable, like flagstone or something of that type, because again, we get into the problem with adding impervious surface that we then have to mitigate for it, and we're tight on mitigation. So I think that we would rather save our efforts if we ever get a driveway.
Try anything else?
No.
Anybody over there?
No, I know Chuck had a lot of the questions, I think, at the last meeting.
I'm sure Chuck has a lot
I feel
of
like a lot of
questions.
them were answered.
So your question is for me to ask my
Yes, sir.
questions.
Yep.
Mary proposed this project under 10585, and so that cleared up a lot. And when I reviewed the standards, I only had one question, but she didn't mention it in her discussion, and that was about mitigation. And in the paperwork, you took credit for the infiltration chamber, but you said that the town requires it.
And you've told me that I cannot take credit for it.
Yeah.
So
when
I
you're-
sort of, and I think I put a sentence in there that said that I can't, but the fact is it still is mitigation, even though you were not allowed to take it into account. But it does reduce the impact of the ADU.
super secret mitigation. I get it. No,
Still.
but it's, I would, 4 years ago until that came up in a meeting I was in, I
Yeah,
wouldn't have.
I was
linked.
not aware of that.
Yeah.
it-
But,
I guess it makes sense. It's just, it's not helpful.
yeah, so most of my questions have been answered. What we're doing here tonight, I believe, is we're proving a buildable envelope and which
Yes.
you're gonna place your work in. And they don't, at the time I talked to the building inspector, they didn't have an architect who he would like to talk to. And there's some engineering questions that need to come up, but they wanted to get through one mission. And so I felt a building envelope, meeting all the standards would work. And with the caveat that any changes, any work outside of that box that they've drawn in on the plan, they would have to come back to the Conservation Commission. So we did talk about a walkway tonight, and I mean, you probably just should have thrown it in, but if you do that, that would be one thing that we'd want to see, even if it is flagstone. But I don't have any other questions beyond what was brought up at the last meeting, and most of those were answered. It's just if you're satisfied with the amount of mitigation.
So Walter had one.
Yeah, you still haven't addressed my question from last meeting.
Which was?
On your new diagram, you have a 25-year, 24-hour storm. But you,
I did talk to our engineer about that, and he,
can I ask the question?
oh, sure.
What value did your engineer use for the calculations was my question then, and it's my question now.
Okay, it's a two-part answer. Last week when I was here, or last month when I was here, the calculations had used the wrong rainfall data. As you pointed out, the town of Reading uses the TP14 NOAA database. So I asked our engineer, can you run this system again using the correct data? And he did, and the system is still adequately sized for the correct rainfall event, which I think is about 6.5 inches maybe for a 25-year storm event. So the system is sized for the correct database at this point.
That doesn't answer my question. What was the value that was used for the calculation?
Oh, I think it was about 6.5.
You-
I don't know. I did not do the calculations. I just asked him the question.
That's
is
my
this sign-
question. Because going from the chart, it should be as much as 8 inches plus.
Yeah, and the only thing I can tell you is I asked him the question, showed him the correct database, and he told me it was okay. So I'm just repeating, it says hearsay. I mean, I can get him to submit something to Chuck that verifies that, but I can't give you a better answer.
So,
Um,
so Walter, there's more to this, right? So we found out that the planning board requires NOAA, it's like Martha has been saying, the NOAA 14. But an ADU is not reviewed by the planning board. We don't have it in our regulations either, but the building department only uses, what is it, something 45, I don't know what it is. The other
The
unit.
TB40.
Yeah, so, they're following, with this, they're following, the building department's regulations. So that needs to be, understood. I'm not saying we need to back down. We've always asked for NOAA plus, NOAA 14
Well,
plus.
That's in the town regs,
Yeah, but it's not in our regs either,
our meaning.
like the town's wetland regulations.
It's in the reg for sizing drainage.
Yeah, under the plan, under the stormwater, right?
Right.
This is not under planning board stormwater review. So we haven't, the town hasn't gone through the process of making sure all departments have the same standard, which is a problem. It is coming up. We just got that in about a year ago and it's gonna happen. So,
What is our,
right now it's a request.
what is our jurisdiction for this project then? Should I just stop?
Yeah, TP40 is what we can force them to do, and we can ask them to do better, but we can't demand it. So, and they've met that regulations, plus they've done a little bit more. It was oversized in the first place, and by removing the driveway, it even has that additional capacity.
So what I suggest is several things. First of all, one of the things we have to do in the future is to go through our regulations and update them, make a note, so we'll be sure to cover that. In the meantime, can you ask your engineer to submit the value to Chuck so we'll have it on record?
Yeah, absolutely.
And we won't use that in this hearing for a determining factor, because again, our regulations don't state that.
Hmm.
Okay,
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm with you.
okay. I have one question.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, I didn't have a better answer.
I don't have a better question.
Okay, all right.
I have one question, which is on your invasive management plan. You state that there will be an annual removal and suggest certain time periods. So my question is more to you, the homeowner, are you aware that obligation you'll be taking on and you're okay with living up to that?
On a yearly basis.
Yeah, what the plan says, removal of non-native invasive plant species should be done each fall, perhaps late summer, visibility and identification is easier in full leaf. All right, just don't want you to be surprised that that's in there. That's really all I have. Joe, do you have anything?
Just one quick question. So the proposed deck off the ADU, there's no additional impervious surface that's going to be from that bottom step into the riverfront area? Is it just the steps going down into the grass next to the pool?
Yes, if you look at the chart that I put in the new description of work, we
Yep.
actually quantify that as degraded area. So we do take credit for having, that's in our number of 1276.
Okay.
It's built into it.
Okay.
Even though
thank
the
you.
deck is not technically impervious, it is degraded.
Okay.
Okay, Joe?
That was it for me. Yep.
Chuck, did you cover all of yours?
Yeah, the only thing I didn't get a chance to elaborate on is if the commission feels like there's enough mitigation for this project, just by doing the invasive removal.
And the shed.
And the shed. The shed is also required by the building department, so that's gonna happen no matter what, so.
You are a
I guess they
spoiled
could,
sport, I tell you, this is.
I guess they could move it back, onto the lawn area, I mean, and they're not doing that. What's happening in the shed? Is it going away altogether?
Martha, you had a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment. You read that stuff about removing the invasives in summer and fall, but if you're gonna tackle any of the garlic mustard, that's a spring thing. A May Memorial Day weekend has all the white flowers. You can find them really easily at that time and pull them before they go to seed.
And they're very easy, like it's.
Yeah.
Just hand pulling, it's not.
Yeah, they come up really easily. But once you recognize them, you can find them when they're blooming, and later it's a little more difficult.
Okay, so let's get back to
Yeah.
Chuck's question then. Is the commission satisfied with the amount of mitigation that has been planned here?
Is it 3 years? Is it in perpetuity? What did you suggest for
I
that?
think I suggested 3 years, but I don't think there's a problem of having it go longer. I mean, typically your first year is your most intense, that you've got, that's where you have the physical work of taking out the buckthorn, pulling out the woody vegetation. And after that, it's more, like you're saying, go in and pull out the garlic mustard when it blooms. There's, maybe weed out the saplings that are coming out, but yeah, it's not a huge task to continue it. To say 5 years, I would say. At some point, they'll move on and you'll be dealing with a new homeowner on it. But how do you do perpetual conditions? Do you attach them in the end after the OOC is ordered?
No, they're written within we highlight them, but they're within the document and they're not continued conditions as a separate item at the bottom of the order of conditions.
Yeah, because as long as the order of conditions is in effect, it will be in effect. You will do it, but once that goes away, then I don't know how you handle that.
So I'd be satisfied with 5 years.
Yeah, there's some language in there that says that,
There is a way to do it. I'm not sure
yeah,
quite what it is.
I'm okay with requiring 5 years.
Yeah.
I think, often homeowners, at least from my experience as a homeowner, once you know what it looks like, you
You want to pull it anyway.
want to keep pulling it. But I don't think we have to be requiring them to come back and report it. So
Okay.
I'm optimistic that you will like what your backyard looks like with less.
And
of
it is
those
much easier
invasives.
once you've done it that first nasty
Yeah, I
time.
mean, after that, it's just kind of like, I don't know, leading,
Yeah.
but like,
Okay, any other questions, comments from the commission?
Just in terms of the invasive management, so is that once the invasive management's done, it's not going to be left in place, it's going to be taken out, like sent to the compost center? So the thing I'm looking at is like garlic mustard, for example.
not to compost. I mean, typically you
Okay.
put it in a black plastic bag and send it with your garbage or your trash.
That's what I wanted to hear. Yeah, especially for the garlic mustard. That stuff spreads like wildfire. So okay, just wanted to make sure. I didn't see that in the plan, but I could have missed it. And then Chuck, quick question. In terms of the embankments for the water behind the home, the town doesn't do any invasive management of those spaces, correct? That's okay.
that's right.
Okay.
Okay. Joe, you all set?
Yeah, I'm all set. Thank you.
Okay. Chuck, any last thoughts?
Website.
Okay. Anybody in the public have anything to ask questions of or comment on? If you're out in Zoom land, find the reactions button, raise your hand and Chuck will see it. Or not. Seeing none.
Yeah, I don't see anyone.
Okay, nobody in the room? All right. So can I have a motion to close the hearing on 43 Arcadia?
Motion to close the hearing on 43 Arcadia to approve
Just close.
just close. Okay, just
Walter Talbot seconds the motion. Walter Talbot's in favor.
Tim Michelle in favor.
Rick Keough in favor.
Chirag Slicker in favor.
Martha Moore in favor?
Brian Bow in favor. Okay,
Any conditions other
Yeah.
than submit the value sheet prior to issuing the order of conditions?
Yeah, I can get him to just send a memo over.
That'd be great.
And the conditions includes the 5 years invasive removal.
Yep. And removal in black plastic bags.
I was gonna say, yeah, that should at least be written down if it's not in the plan already. Okay,
It's
anything
in
else?
Appendix A of the
Okay.
vegetation plan under manual control. So
I didn't see that either. Okay, any other conditions or is that it?
Is the walkway in writing somewhere? permeable.
You know,
walkway.
once we have our architecturals, we'll have a better idea of where the walkway needs to go and we can submit it, you know, to your agent and.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, at least the condition should be the walkway will be permeable surface, something like that.
What, the walkway that they're not proposing yet?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. We're not deciding on that tonight. So
Okay.
when and if they decide to do it, we'll deal with it a piece at that
As
point.
a change
Yeah.
in plan or something. Okay,
Okay. So can I have a motion to issue an order of conditions for 43 Arcadia?
I'm making a motion to issue an order of conditions for 43 Arcadia.
Walter Talbot's seconds it. Walter Talbot's in favor.
Tim Michelle in favor.
Rick Keo in favor.
Xerox Delicker in favor.
Martha Moore in favor.
Brian Bowe in favor. Okay, thank you.
Thanks so much. I'll get that to you, Chuck. But I know you'll have it if I don't, so.
Yeah, I know, we'll see,
Okay.
and,
7 feet.
yeah, we'll see you later.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much.
Good luck.
And you can just leave that door open when you stop talking about this.
Okay, so next is 281 Main Street. I'll read the blurb while Chucky let anybody in, if there is anybody to let in. Open a public hearing on notice of intent filed by 281 Main Street LLC pursuant to Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act and/or the Reading Wetland Protection Bylaw, Section 7.1, for the proposed redevelopment of a mixed-use building and parking lot in a previously disturbed riverfront area. The application and plans can be viewed on the Conservation Division page under current project. Assessors Map 12, Lot 42, DEP file number 270-0809. Is there anybody here to speak for the, can you introduce yourself, please? And
Absolutely. For the record, my name is Andrew Tebow. I'm a wetland scientist with Goddard Consulting, and I am the representative of the applicant. I believe our civil engineer, Carlton Quinn, was going to be on the Zoom as well. I don't know if you see him in the waiting room,
I
Chuck.
don't see the name Carlton Quinn. There's AMA meetings. Does that help? Jeff Brenner?
If Carlton is there, can he use the reaction button and raise his hand?
No worries. The presentation's going to come from me. He's here for questions if there's civil stormwater, just to have a whole team here with you guys. So it won't delay things if he's not, but I figured make sure we can let him in, and then I can share my screen from my computer here and we can go. Perfect. So I'll kick things off with an aerial of the property just to orient ourselves and look at the existing conditions. So as was read into the record, the lot is 281 Main Street in Reading. It's about a 3/4 acre lot with an existing 2-story commercial building and parking. We can see here the exterior and eastern portions of the lot, they're forested and undeveloped. It's bound by a perennial river to the east. When you take a look at the GIS layers for this area, it shows a perennial river and a few small wetland areas in the eastern portions of the lot. We delineated this back in September of 2025, and there is certainly a perennial stream out there. We had a mean annual high water delineation done. We noted that there are no wetland resource areas that come off the stream. There's an elevated walking trail that if you go along my cursor here that follows the stream, it's at a very well-defined elevation above the mean annual high water line, and it seems to bisect any hydrology from entering anywhere else on the site. So we had a mean annual high water delineation, but no wetlands, meaning that the property has both the 100 and 200-foot riverfront area to a perennial stream, and then the bank of the stream also has a 25-foot zone of natural vegetation, and then 35-foot no structure under your local bylaw. So as part of the plan set that was submitted, we have an existing conditions plan. As I had referenced, we have our mean annual high water delineation here. The detailed topo along the stream actually shows pretty well that it's a pretty well-defined bank. And so we have a very straight stream delineation that casts both a 100-foot riverfront area and a 200-foot riverfront area on the property. So just about the entirety of this development as it exists today is within the riverfront area, minus this very small portion that we see on my cursor here. So this project would be filed as a riverfront redevelopment project under 310 CMR 10585, which we have here. So this notice of intent is before you for the redevelopment of this building in the parking area. The intent is to convert this 2-story to a 4-story mixed-use building. So it would be commercial on the ground floor, residential above, and to develop the parking lot to suit the building around. Because this is a redevelopment project, there's a few important provisions that we need to be aware of. One is that we can't move any closer than existing conditions as part of this. We have to hold all the existing limits of parking. And if there is any increase in degraded or impervious surfaces as part of this, we need to mitigate them. So right off the bat, I'm going to pan back and forth between the existing conditions and the overview plan here, just to orient us. So we have an existing limit of parking that's pretty well defined here by granite curbing, with a tree line very shortly behind that we see in the curved lines here. Turn around to the parking shown here. So the redevelopment of this project needs to hold all of these lines, and it's designed to do so. So we have that same limit of parking. A little turnaround here is removed. And so all the work is occurring within that maintained, degraded, disturbed riverfront area up gradient, and we don't move any closer than existing conditions. That being said, there is a slight increase in degraded riverfront area as part of the project. It's about 2,175 square feet total. So it's minor, but it's where when you're reworking the parking areas, you would impact landscaped areas, things that wouldn't be considered disturbed or degraded riverfront area at this time. So it does trigger the need for some mitigation. So you would have had some graphics that were submitted as part of the notice of intent. I'll share them here. So this is a view of the existing conditions. The existing degraded areas within the riverfront area are shown in orange. So that includes the existing building itself that's there, the parking that surrounds it, as well as the concrete paver walkways in the front. Areas that are non-degraded, so they're more maintained lawn, things that, although they're mowed, maintained, typically they're not considered degraded riverfront area. Those are shown here in green. And then the forested areas are shown in this dark green line here. So as I had mentioned, when we have this new project now, so this is the proposed conditions, keeping the same color scheme. The proposed 4-story building and the new parking are also shown in orange. This generates that about 2,175 square feet of degraded surfaces that are occurring. And so we had our landscape architects take a look at the site and work with us to come up with a mitigation plan to meet that 2-to-1, so we can comply with both portions of that riverfront redevelopment. So that brings us to the third graphic here. The areas that you see in pink and green now are areas that are proposed under this landscaping plan to be restored. So it includes areas that are existing parking to be cut out and replanted with native species as part of the landscaping plan. It included portions of that lawn area that was being mowed and maintained to be converted to native plantings. So in total, we had, as I said, 2,175 square feet of new degraded. We had about 540 square feet of that was mitigation, meaning that we needed to provide a 2-to-1 for 1,635 square feet. So we needed 3,270 square feet of mitigation, and this plan that our landscape architects came up with gives us 3,275. And if I go to their landscaping plan here that we reference, we see those same areas cut out of the parking here with plantings throughout the site, including in the areas currently maintained as lawn. So the intent of this lot is to rework the building, the parking, and then the areas that were being maintained as lawn, areas of parking that's not required. They're all going to be removed and replaced with a native landscaping plan to fully meet that 2-to-1 mitigation. So it complied with both aspects of the riverfront redevelopment. Another important item to note is that as of right now on this property, there really is no landscaping plan. So if I zoom into the existing conditions a little closer, essentially what you have out here is a building, a parking lot, concrete paver walkway, and a little bit of lawn. There's very little out there until you get off the limit of work into the wooded areas. And so what this plan does is it evaluated all portions of the lot where we can provide plantings throughout. So it includes plantings both within the riverfront area and without. Because the majority of the site is within riverfront area, the majority of the plantings are within the riverfront area as well. Having worked with the commission before, I know we're also always looking to quantify tree removal and clarify where that's being replanted. So the good news on this project is because this is riverfront redevelopment and we're not moving any closer to existing conditions, we're not touching any of the forested portions of the property. So there are only 2 trees to be removed total, and only one of which is within the commission's jurisdiction. So there is There's a 15-inch or so DBH. It's a multi-trunk landscaped ornamental that's on my cursor here. It's outside of the riverfront area, but it is to be removed and it was noted on the plans. And then there's one 12-inch DBH landscaping tree right here. So both of these are ornamental trees that are as part of the site's very minute landscaping plan at present. So those are to be removed. So there's 2 total, only 1 within the commission's jurisdiction. But the replanting plan as part of this landscaping schedule, in addition to the shrubs, the herbaceous, there's 25 trees going in as part of this plan. 24 of those are within the riverfront area. 1 is without, and that the breakdown of that is it's 15 deciduous trees at about a 3-inch diameter breast height. And then there are 10 evergreen trees that are tapped at about 7 to 8 feet in height. So the idea is to remove 2 trees total, 1 within riverfront area, and replant 25 with 24 within the riverfront area. So that concludes kind of the bulk of the project overview. I can briefly touch on the stormwater plan as well. And like I said, our civil engineer will certainly be here to answer any questions if he's on the call. Otherwise, we'll do this at a future meeting. But there was a full stormwater report that was submitted. We're working with Allen & Major Associates on this. So they had a pretty robust, there's a subsurface infiltration system that takes most of the roof and parking lot runoff. And there's an additional 1,000-gallon dry well in the rear parking area. They provided a stormwater report that retains all the way up to the 100-year storm event. So it fully complied. But that being said, that's a pretty full project overview. So I can turn it over to any questions you have, and we'll be happy to take them.
Okay, I'm going to open by reading the
So,
statement.
If you want Allen & Major Associates, I have AMA on here, so let me give them permission to speak if they have something to say.
Perfect. It's very likely that you're just here for questions, but
Yeah.
I'll let you do that.
Can you
way.
take the screen down for a second so it's easier for me to
Absolutely.
navigate?
I'm all set with this. If you guys want to see anything else, you can let me know. I can leave it open.
Okay. Should be good.
Oh, yeah, this is Carlton Quinn with Allen & Major Associates, Massachusetts. We did the land survey, civil engineering, and the landscape architecture for the project. And, Andrew had kind of done a good job of going through it, but it's a pretty straightforward drainage system. We have catch basins, sediment removal devices, and an underground infiltration system. And we're capturing and retaining the 100-year storm event on site with no discharge. We will need to get approval from the Mass DOT. And we knew we were in some pretty strict resource areas, so we tried to do a good job on the drainage here. The existing site currently catches the site in about 3 catch basins, collects it and discharges it straight into the stream. So this is a vast improvement over the existing stormwater conditions. But I'm here if you have any more questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to both of you. Okay, I'm going to read a statement. The commission is requesting a third-party review to assist in evaluating the technical components of the filing, particularly stormwater and resource area protection, given the scale of redevelopment within the riverfront area and proximity to jurisdictional resources. This is a standard tool used to ensure the record is complete and the performance standards of the act and local bylaw are fully met. So, the first step there would be for us to issue a request to companies, somebody to volunteer to stand up to do that. I think we have somebody in mind, but we have to wait till they agree to do it. And having said that, I suppose we could take questions and what have you, but typically we wait till we get the report from the third-party reviewer, but then that informs our questions. So for the commission, I think we can hold ours. Chuck, you may have something you want to bring up.
No, I just want to hear what Andrew has to say. So the commission's request from third-party review for the environmental and stormwater because I guess, like you said, the technical aspects of this.
And it's a pretty extensive stormwater report. And we have stormwater report experts on the commission. So I'm going to reach out with some help.
Yep, no, we understand. We work with peer reviewers all the time. It's pretty typical of large scale projects. The only thing I would ask is just a clarification on the scope. So it would be primarily for a peer review of the stormwater system. And then did you say anything about compliance with the regulations, or was it more of a stormwater peer review?
Well, both. I mean, they always have information in regards to both the state and the local.
Yes, both. They'll review the order of, so typically when we have, I think, Safario was working with us on Pineville Ave one, and we had LEC come in. And not only did they review the wetland line and make comments about the application, they also reviewed the order of conditions to make sure it was written correctly or their comments were in that. So it was that additional step about reviewing the order of conditions before the commission issues it.
Yep, yeah, we've seen all that before as well, so, and I will say, we did speak with the applicant about the potential for that, so, you know, we're open to it, and I would say, you know, if the commission does have any burning questions tonight, I'm still happy to at least answer them or take them for future reference, but knowing that a peer review would be coming, I'm comfortable proceeding, however, would be your preference.
I would prefer to wait for it.
Yeah.
so we
By
get
all
more-
means, I mean,
more
that's-
input.
Questions can often spark from the review as well, so that's perfectly fine for us.
Did you have anything else you wanted to add?
No,
All right.
looking forward to an early night.
Okay.
Make it happen for you.
So then can I have a motion to continue this? What's a reasonable date for us to pick?
So we're gonna try to do this in between the next two meetings,
Next two
and I will
meetings.
send Andrew any information that I receive, and you can distribute it to your team. And the commission, we won't decide until we come back to the next meeting. I guess that's how it goes.
Yeah, perfectly fine. We can
Okay.
proceed
Doug,
with
can
that.
I ask a question? Do you have to wait to approve the peer reviewer in the next hearing, or can you do that?
So
without
I had a
public-
question out to procurement, and it's all about how much it ends up being. And so if it's under a certain number, we can just go with one we're comfortable with, and that's what I'm hoping. And so that wouldn't have to come back and be voted on.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I will add that I'm happy to chat with you offline if there's like quotes that come in, if we need to get any approvals, we can work with you, whatever helps us come up with, you know, some updates for the next meeting.
Sure.
Thank you.
Did you want to do the next meeting or 2 meetings, you said?
No, I think we should try for the next meeting.
Okay. So that will be the 25th. 14 days, 11, oh, the 8th.
22nd.
You're right. 22nd. It's a math thing again. Get the calendar.
All right, motion to,
I do believe that that's the holiday, the April vacation week, so I hope that's not an issue with anyone. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Nothing here. We'll be here, but
Okay.
thank you. I appreciate you checking.
We'll have a quorum.
I've already booted my kids out of the house, so.
Just making sure.
We're in good shape.
motion to continue the hearing on 281 Main Street to the next meeting, which is on April 22nd.
Wolford Talbot seconds it. Wolford Talbot's in favor.
Michelle in favor.
Keo in favor.
Jacques Fisher in favor.
Martha Moore in favor?
I'm voting in favor. Thank you.
Thank you guys for your time tonight.
See you next time.
Absolutely.
Alrighty, so
Next week, that was it for hearings. So next we get to discussion vote items. The first one there is to conclude our discussion of wetland fee adjustments.
Can I ask whether we can move that later and have the people who are here in person have a chance to go first?
That's a good idea. Sure. Well, that's good. We didn't need a motion for that, but that's fine.
I thought you'd appreciate that.
Okay, so I'm guessing these people are here for 125 Forest Street. Is that a good guess? Great. Martha, do you want to walk us through this morning's visit quickly?
not Martha.
Yeah, I can do it.
Chirag.
Chirag. We chose Chirag. You weren't there, sorry.
I wasn't there for the
We wanted him
choice.
to know that at the meeting, yeah, so he was prepared.
Sorry, Chirag, I didn't mean to
No
take away
worries.
thunder.
I wrote it, typed it out. All right, we did a site walk this morning. I was attended by Chuck, Brian, Martha, Walter, and myself.
I came late. hence me not knowing you're the man.
Frank Capone, the owner, was present as well. We saw the driveway extension that is beyond the 25-foot wetland line. The end of the driveway is gravel. Owner confirmed that no vehicles with an engine are parked there, just the trailer. We measured the 25-foot lines and determined that the GIS map was a bit more aggressive than the actual 25-foot and 35-foot distance from the wetland. So that may kind of put only the top right-hand corner within the 25-foot zone. There is some building material in the back and was determined to be outside the 35-foot zone. The owner said there may have been a campground sometime back in the 50s, since there's a foundation near the 100-foot line. And they will try to get some information regarding that. There's some amount of leaves and debris in the 25-foot zone on the right-hand side of the property. Since the portion of the driveway is in the no disturb zone, we need some mitigation options, including and not limited to 25-foot granite.
Wanted to make one correction. The extended driveway doesn't go into the resource. It goes into the two buffer zones.
Into the buffers.
Just want to make sure that was clear. Anything else to add?
So I put the plan up there that Shrak talked about, and we determined that the wetland is pretty close to the edge of the driveway in one location, but not exactly accurate in another location. So I think we would move this line here.
Yeah.
I don't know, you guys can't see but we would move it further down the driveway and meet it up. Let me see if I can just draw on here.
So the idea is to, my terms, cut off a corner of the existing driveway to pull it back a bit from the resource. And then you were going to kind of round out the inside of the corner to give you the turning radius that you needed for your vehicles. Yeah, I was using a fancy term.
Where did this original picture come from?
This picture,
One, before you drew the lines?
I put that together.
Oh, okay.
So the commission and
Frank,
I knew it was Frank. I'm trying to remember his last name.
Mr. Capone.
Capone, Mr. Capone. So everyone understood what we were talking about. So I put this together based on the town's GIS and I sent it to everyone.
Yeah, I'm just curious where okay, so
Mhm.
it's not legally accurate, but it's a good idea of what's going on.
Yeah, so the town's GIS is not accurate. It has that disclaimer that it can't be used for permits, but the Conservation Commission did go out there and I think we dialed it in pretty much. My drawing is probably not as good as what we drew on the driveway, but it looks like there was a section that could be beyond the foundation, because the foundation would have been an existing structure, and so it was never wetland, or was, and we're not asking anyone to pull up a foundation beyond the foundation, but in the 25-foot area, there was a section that seemed to be in that area, and I think that's where we are generally in this area here. So no foundation. So Mr. Capone did send me some pictures this afternoon about the foundation, and I can bring those up. Not sure if that's going to snap in there, or let's see. There you go. All right, so it should come up now. And so one of my questions was, could you show that the foundation goes from the wetland edge, closest area to the buffer zone, which is by the grass on the screen, that it meets up with the other side where the grass is, and I believe he just uncovered it. It was about 2 or 3 inches of gravel. He uncovered that, and so I think that goes to screen left. And all of that area, I don't think that it's possible that if we reviewed this before the work happened, that we would have said, pull the foundation up and this should be restored or anything like that. I think it would have been an area that the commission would say, well, it's obvious that this is a disturbed area and you can use that, you know, for your future plans. So it's just in front of that area that I'm talking about that seems to have this opportunity right here. And so I think what the commission needs to do is just kind of verify where we're talking about, what needs to be done, and then ask for what we're going to use to kind of correct the situation. And of course, one of them is the after the fact request for determination of applicability, which would kind of straighten this out.
Okay.
So the other picture is the same, it just shows the foundation.
Right, so what you're talking about is essentially from that red line outside that existing foundation and towards the wetlands. So removing all the gravel that's outside the foundation and within the constraint of that line that you drew there. So kind of an arc, if you will. Is that what you're saying?
So the 25 foot is the zone of natural vegetation. Let me show you another picture before we get too far here. Okay, this is it. Did that change over? It looks like it did, right?
You get all.
I just got 2 of the foundation from you.
That box I was talking about.
Yeah, that's gonna be outside of this area, but I don't think I got that. Let me switch to my here we go. Stop sharing and go back to where I was. I think this is the one we want to look at. Yeah, so here's the one that I want you, the commission, to see. And what it shows is what this looked like before the work had happened. And so that's just gravel back in that area. And there was kind of a road down there and trampoline up in this area here. And so now there's been a lot of work done and it's all lawn, which is much better than gravel. And so I guess this access road seemed to work. This is a 2019 picture. And over here is where the parking area happens. So my proposal was to take this and inside the 25-foot line, but beyond the foundation is just to think about restoring that section of.
Right, okay. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, so it's in the 25 foot, not in the 35 foot. And remove the gravel, put some topsoil in, and then restore it to something. That doesn't have to happen. You could also understand that this was, my apologies, but I'm gonna say a pretty miserable backyard. And a lot of work has happened. And you could say, leave it the way it is, put in some border planting that's next to the wetland. And that would be an improvement over the existing conditions. After all, this is a gravel driveway, so it's pervious. Those are the two options that you probably
Would there
would
be a
want to
third
weigh.
option for just a fee?
What's that?
Would there be a third option for just a fee?
Just a fee?
Like if he had done this, submitted like an RDA, could he just submit a fee to the board? The third option.
No, I don't,
can't do
there's
that.
there's no fee. There's no way to just pay
Retroactively.
out of, I mean, you have to think about if they came in asking to do this,
Yep.
how would we have done that? We wouldn't have said, or, just give us $2,500 and you can do it. We usually try to look at how to protect the resource area,
Yep.
but also how to allow the project.
Thank you.
Okay, so I have opinions, but
Yeah, so
you
they're
guys
not-
should talk before I
They're
do.
not looking to add anything. They're looking to make it as if they had been through the process from the beginning.
Yeah, as I understand it, Frank didn't understand the process. This happens a lot. It happens everywhere. Someone didn't understand that a permit's needed. They understand that, everyone understands they need a building permit, but no one understands they need a conservation permit or maybe some other zoning permit or something like that. Those are the things that no one listens or knows about. We have a integrated permit system now in town hall, so that's, a lot of things are caught. But putting in a driveway that's gravel wouldn't have been, I don't think that would have been a permit.
So basically what we're doing here is considering an after the fact RDA. So we have to think of this as it hasn't happened yet and they're asking to do it and they've submitted an RDA to see if there's jurisdictional interest from us. That's our perspective. And depending on what the answer is, it would be a decision after the fact because it's been done. So what Chuck is saying is that we would have looked at the 25 and the 35. We would have seen that there's an existing foundation. So it's already been disturbed back before the act took effect. And therefore we wouldn't, my term, hold that against them. We would protect outside of the foundation as best we could, but not have them try and pull that back. Did I come
Right.
close?
No, you did a good job. So don't get lost. One of the things I think we need to do is, like, we can talk a lot tonight, but we're gonna also have to talk about the same thing. If you decide that this is not an enforcement order and this is an after the fact RDA and it needs to be submitted with whatever planting is proposed or whatever mitigation is proposed, like the trees, maybe one of these other things. You could say what you prefer.
Right.
And then we could just,
haven't got to
and then
that.
that could be what happens.
Can you
But-
reiterate the second option again, like about planting? Like where can they, instead of like just getting rid
So
of-
there was this area of lawn that was close to, I'm sorry, I have to do it this way, but I lose half my screen. This is area of lawn. I'll get rid of this one and get the right one up there. And where is that? It's this one here.
I know.
All right, here we go. So if it was just planting, this is the area that I'm talking about. Has an opportunity to be planted.
Okay. And that would be an option for the owners, right? Like not something that, I mean, they have the option of either going with the, moving the driveway.
The commission's in charge. They could say
Okay,
which one they prefer.
okay,
Those are the two options that I was thinking would work.
okay.
I mean, yeah, so either one in my mind does work.
I didn't see any erosion issues when we were there. So I think the permeable driveway is working.
Mm.
If we're gonna have them do plantings, measure the square footage of what the foundation is exposed within the 25, even the 35. And then have plantings in that square footage in what you're saying.
Okay, well, I could just say, submit the application with those numbers in it.
That's what I would do.
Okay.
So let me just get what you're saying on the map to be clear. We now think that the 35-foot zone, basically where that trampoline is that corner of the driveway is the part that's in the 35-foot zone.
25.
Yeah,
I think it's even 30.
35 is a little.
Yeah.
outside.
Yeah,
yeah.
but I'm thinking there should be no structures out to the 35-foot line. So, so I would say about that corner where the trampoline is where we would want to take out gravel and put in some plantings sort of along the curve of the driveway there.
The gravel's working.
And the gravel's fine. Taking
Gravel's
out the
working.
gravel's gonna make it worse, I think.
And
Okay.
the trampoline isn't there.
Trampoline's not there,
Right.
right? But
But I
the
think,
question was, did they extend their driveway too close to the wetland? And I thought the solution was move the driveway further from the wetland. And you're saying, don't move the driveway
Nothing's
further.
happened back there and you're gonna make it worse by digging that up and putting.
Putting bushes there.
Plant somewhere else, leave the driveway as is.
Right, you could just put the
Yeah.
shrubs to the
Put
right.
the
of it.
shrubs to the right, like Chuck was saying, and just leave the driveway exactly as is, cause there's nothing, like
yeah, it wasn't,
Walter was saying, there's no erosion back there, so why move something that's working?
also don't forget that it wasn't lawn. It wasn't lawn when you bought it, Frank?
There's a lot of sun over there, so everything, yeah, it was mostly dirt and grass, but there is a lot of growth there.
But now it's lawn. So,
It's not lawn, it's gravel.
well, it's lawn and gravel.
Yeah, outside of the gravel.
Okay, so it was all gravel, at least it looked like that from the 2019 picture.
Okay.
And now it's lawn and gravel. Plus lawn and driveway, parking area. Anyways, you know, that's the question, you know, propose mitigation within the 25-foot area. Commensurate with the square footage that you've used for your driveway, or remove the driveway in that area and then move everything over.
Was there any mitigation that was done from the 2019 GIS map out in other parts of that 25-foot and 35-foot zone during the construction of the semi-permeable driveway?
So, yeah, that makes me think, I just want to say that we didn't get a permit for that 2019 area. But if we did, you would consider any area that was turned into lawn would be considered mitigation.
I don't see anybody at the podium. The question was for them.
Frank, do you mind getting up to?
And when you get up to introduce yourself for the record, thank you.
Frank, owner of 125 Forest Street.
Thanks, Frank. So no, as part of like from the 2019 GIS map, I mean, I see a lot of dirt surface before the driveway was constructed. When you guys did construct the driveway inside that 25 and 35-foot line, not the ones that Chuck has drawn, but the existing ones, was there any kind of work conducted in there to replicate wetlands or any plantings or anything as part of the project that you guys took on?
Just the grass.
Just the grass?
There is growth down the hill. My land is actually about what, 4 feet higher than the wetland, so there's like a slope. There's growth right in there.
Okay, so there was no plantings that you put in as part of the reseeding?
I mean, just I think there's some pine trees that are growing along the edge.
Did you put those in?
No, they grow naturally around there.
Volunteer
Okay.
growth.
Yeah.
Okay. No, and the reason why I asked that is, to offset some potential mitigation asks here, to see if there was any existing work done, which it
I
sounds like
did-
there was nothing.
I did put a row of arborvitaes, but that was when the owner was doing the project next door. I don't know if that's within the 25-foot zone. But
It's probably outside of it. It's further up
yeah,
the,
that was for the guy.
Yeah,
Bill,
that's
did the
outside.
project.
yeah.
Okay. I mean, just to chime in kind of briefly to the commission's discussion, I would rather see kind of plantings within the 25 foot without necessarily having to take out the semi impervious surface, the gravel driveway that's existing. So where Chuck's kind of highlighted in the grassy area, see that bolstered and potentially behind where I guess that's a trampoline or a pool. I think it's a trampoline.
Yeah, trample.
Somewhere along those lines to prevent any more like any further encroachment beyond what's already there.
So you're suggesting some kind of plantings outside the structure of the foundation, but within the buffer zones? So some
Correct.
kind of plantings there? What
Correct.
kind of plantings are you thinking?
Yeah, we shouldn't get into that. So we're at the
Just
point.
basically shrubs. ground
Shrubs.
cover.
Native.
Mostly.
Tomato plants?
Native. Yeah, not to lose track. So you've heard a couple of suggestions. I mean, you're gonna have to do an RDA.
Yeah, that's true.
And then
Do it
pick your
anyway.
best, instead of like giving, we really can't without a permit.
We can't design it or anything here, so.
Just
We can't agree to it without a
Yeah.
permit.
Just FYI, just so you don't think I just went down there and just did whatever I want. When we bought the place, it was that foundation that Chuck showed you. I actually today, when you guys left, I just remembered where it was, and it's only a couple inches below the gravel. And there's a lot more that goes around, and must have been maybe 3 tennis courts if you measure them from the stone wall to the back and across the whole yard. So I don't know. It had to be some type of campsite or recreation center. So I just thought into that, I just continued the gravel to the end, that's all,
So,
with the pre-existing conditions there.
so it sounds like where we are is you've heard some ideas that we have for mitigation to do. So you need to submit that RDA application as if you were doing it ahead of time. And in it, you would have the plan for, I want to build this driveway and I'm gonna do these plantings, this mitigation in conjunction with doing the driveway. Submit that, and then we look at that plan because we can't decide till we have a plan in our hands. And so you can get that form online. Chuck can tell you to do that if he hasn't already. And it doesn't have to be, a formal plan done by an engineering company or anything. Basically just good enough sketches and what have you. So we have it in the record and it's saved. And so we can discuss a concrete plan as opposed to words. Okay?
Sounds like a plan.
And then,
Plan, but will be.
so do you think you could put that together and get it back to us by the first meeting in May 13th?
Sure.
Because I don't think it would be possible to do the next meeting.
No, I think that's fine.
And the only thing, and just to the commission, moving work in the 25-foot area, which we never do. I'm gonna have to get a variance. I would gone over that with Frank,
That's a good point.
over the phone when we talk about this. But, we don't want to start a precedent, so we're gonna have to figure out how this works in the 25-foot area. So one of the things, too bad there wasn't foundation all the way over where he's, because that would have created a situation where we're saying because of the foundation, this work was allowed. Not everyone's gonna have a foundation in that situation. But you have to think of that because we don't want people working in the 25-foot area. So out of all the suggestions I heard, even the one I gave, but I gave two, Martha was probably the most right on about protecting our 25-foot zone of natural vegetation. By saying, you gotta move this stuff out, or you gotta get to a point where, you know, you've moved it far enough away so we can give a variance for the rest. So, that's what you guys have to think about. Frank, you have to think about what works best for your property and then bring that into us and we'll discuss what you're going with, at the commission, and they'll decide whether that works or not.
Okay.
Can I just say, when you are submitting the RDA, I'd like to see it in writing that no vehicles with motors are parked in that area that's near the wetland, so that we don't have any risk of
Leakage.
oil leakage onto the pavement or the gravel. So, you know, that's something to put in your RDA when you're presenting it, that you park your trucks closer to the house.
Well, I definitely park my truck close to the house.
Understand, but I want it in writing.
Okay.
So if I drive by and I see a pickup truck down there where the trampoline is in the picture, I can say, you aren't supposed to be parking there.
She will do that.
Yeah, I'm nasty that way. I drive by and peer down the driveway.
Make sure I'm not loading leaves.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we need to know officially where the 25 and 35-foot lines are only in that part of the property?
Well, we officially, what we did this morning is official. So I could draw it out better for Frank at his house, and then he could put that on a plan, and then we could work with that. But, he doesn't need to go out and
Right.
hire a wetland scientist, in my
No, no.
opinion.
We're not gonna do a delineation.
Yeah, so we could make it work a little bit better and then get that on the plan, so it's not what I put here. So, you know, I'll work with you to redo the plan.
That's what I'll do. I'll come in, get the application.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
right,
Thanks for
thank
staying
you.
with us.
All right, thanks.
Okay, next is.
Have a good night.
You too.
Have a good night.
Next is 451 Pearl Street. There's a tree there they asked us to evaluate, and we went there this morning after the site visit to Forest Street. So to help you, this is across the stream from 445 Pearl Street that we've been working with for 5 years now. We looked at it, the tree is definitely undercut. The roots on the stream side have definitely been sheared off. So what we suggested this morning was that he should get an arborist opinion. We gave him some names, he had already done some himself. So you can get an arborist opinion as to whether the tree is dangerous, whether it should come down. Even from our inexpert opinion, it looks like it's urgent enough that we encourage them to find somebody, and if the answer is to take it down, then to get moving on that as quickly as possible, because that whole stream side has been sheared off. What else to say about it?
What kind of tree is it?
It's
Red
a
maple.
triple trunk, would you say maple?
Red maple.
Yeah.
It's just starting to bloom, so you can tell easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the strange thing is you look at it and if you didn't see the root system, you say, oh, that's a pretty healthy tree. It's doing well. The issue is it's undercut, so it's undermined.
The stream bank no longer slopes toward the stream. It's dug out.
It's
where
been
the-
scoured by
yeah.
the,
The spring torrents have dug the water out where it shouldn't have been dug. But also, as Brian said, the roots are very close to the trunk.
so as far as this property goes, we've given him steps to take and agreement to take them quickly. As far as a bigger picture for us, it brings urgency back to 445 Pearl Street to have him finish the work on that side of the stream. And so I will go back one more time. Knock on the door. We may have to resort to doing a letter to try and get his attention if I don't manage to reach him. I've been by, well, 4 times so far in this latest round of stop-bys.
I thought at some point we had already started finding.
No, there's an enforcement
Okay.
letter, but there is enforcement order, but there is no finding.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Oh.
We could
And-
still
and-
go in that direction, but he's done, so when we reviewed it today, the work looked acceptable. It
On the
needs
other
to
side
be-
of the stream.
Needs to be finished. Right.
On
So if
the
you just
southern
finished
side.
it, we would be happy. And I think that's why Brian wants to get his attention again, or call, or whatever. So we're not at this finding stage where nothing's happened and he hasn't done anything we've asked. Because he has done things we've asked, and he actually did a lot of work, so we really,
Just willing to finish.
yeah, it would be a long road from here to, you know, we'd have to initiate this finding process again.
Yeah, he needs to get the northern bank stabilized with coir logs at the bottom and put soil back where the soil all got scoured away, and maybe some
Yeah, he does have the core
netting
logs
or,
down the base of the stream on both sides, so that channels the water well when it's at the current level. But clearly, when there's more of a flow, it comes above that and undermines the bank. So he's going to have to build up something on the side to protect it, and then put soil down on top of it, dirt down on top of it.
Is the neighbor pushing him at all? Because now it's impacting his side.
I don't know if they have interactions or what interactions they have. He clearly wants it addressed. This came about because he's the owner on the northern side, 451, is looking for a certificate of compliance. So he wants to finish that up too.
and he's worried that this tree is gonna fall on the home of 445 or on the vehicles in the driveway, because that's the side that's getting undercut. So he's not really worried about his house, but he's worried about his liability because the tree is on his property and it's gonna smash 445's belongings.
Okay, anything else on that?
No, I think you've reached out to some tree companies, and he's hoping to get down by the 11th.
By 11, okay,
Yeah.
good. I hadn't heard that. Okay. Then we can move on.
And I made you jump ahead, so don't forget what we skipped up above was fees.
Oh, that's a fine point.
Yeah.
Why don't we forget the fees? I did last time too. I guess I don't.
Well,
like
because
the
I
fees.
asked you to
Yeah. I
give
know.
the
Chuck, can you bring up?
125 Forest Street a chance to go
Can you
home a
bring
little
up
earlier.
the spreadsheet? So this spreadsheet is one that we've already discussed a couple of times. These are the numbers that we've agreed to. So this would be us just voting to accept it officially on the record.
Make a motion to
Oh,
accept.
wait a minute, let's do it all at once. So on this one here, sorry, but instead of having two, it's because we only have one set of fees.
Yeah, we just in 2 different places.
But we have two uploads for these. So, I think does anyone have any comments on this slide? We did go over it, each one individual at our last meeting.
And please, nobody have comments.
Okay,
It's fine with what it was, so.
Okay.
all right.
So this is now the second batch. This is right in the bylaws by paragraph. It's section 2, paragraph D, 9, and then we're mostly focusing on F through K, I think it is. We'll see in a moment.
Yeah, so G, H, G and H we discussed at the last meeting. And I felt, what I said was, no one's really complained about G and H. So, I think that they're exactly where they need to be. I don't know if, anyone was proposing an increase, temporary, permanent in the 25 and the 35 foot. So, for instance, Frank Capone, when he was here, this $1.25 per square foot of impact. So.
Okay, so those we can leave the way they are, I would suggest.
Mm.
The next one where there's the yellow highlighting, we talked about that in the whole conversation with vernal pools. So the decision last time was to just remove that line altogether.
Because we don't allow work within the
Anyway,
100
so
foot.
there's no point in having it, and then somebody thinks they can buy it, because they can't. And that brings us to the two with, that had the large dollar amount. It was 11 for both of these, $11 a square foot, and $11 linear foot for the bank. So what we talked about was reducing that. We've been reducing it anyway in actuality over the past few months since the issue was brought up to us. So this is talking about putting a number in officially, and the number there is $3 per square foot and $3 per linear foot.
Yeah, so the town asked us to look at the fees. This is actually something that we can defend. It is lowering the fees, but we were never getting that fee anyways on these large projects. We always had to give variances and bring it down pretty close to what this number is going to still yield. So we're at a good spot with this, and it works. It also works with smaller projects.
Right.
So what is now gonna be I is specifically resource areas, not buffer zones. So,
Correct.
These two are bank, which is a resource area, or buffer zones.
no,
No, resource area or bank or resource area.
and
So
we
I
dealt
is
with buffer zones earlier.
Above, yeah.
Okay. I'm fine with this.
Anybody comments, anything?
Nope.
I'm good with this.
Okay,
No, you're up.
I'll make a motion
Oh.
to approve the,
I don't have any
First-
questions, but maybe Rick has a question.
I don't have a question, but I have a motion,
I was just trying to
yes.
like what you did to me.
I'll make a motion to accept the fees from the wetland fees, as well as the updates to the second part of that. What
It's
was
all
that?
wetlands fees.
It's
Make a
all part of
motion to update our wetlands fees as presented on the screen
okay.
and reviewed by the Conservation Commission.
what you call the
Motion to
fee
accept
schedule.
the fees as it was presented on the screen.
Walter Talbot seconds that motion. Thank you, Rick. Walter Talbot's in favor.
Tim Michelle in favor.
Rick Keeler in favor.
Rocks the liquor.
Martha Moore in favor.
No, Brian Bowe in favor.
All right.
Okay, great. Put that one to bed.
Now I'll let you jump down below fees and see
Right.
anything else
Number
you might have
6.
missed.
The first thing is the coordination meeting, Conservation DPW, April 7th, which was yesterday. How did that go? If you had
My
one?
contact with the DPW was not in, and he asked to move the meeting. Something has come up. We have it tentatively scheduled for tomorrow, but if not, we'll do it next week. He's not in. So I didn't have an opportunity to talk about the chain at Elderberry Lane.
Okay. So put that aside then. Violation notices, in passing, discussing 451, I talked about 445. So you're aware of what the action there has to be. Item 8 is administrator's report.
And again, I was gonna bring up Elderberry Lane and the LSP that didn't contact the Conservation Commission, and then finally the town and the Health Department got a notice. This was RMLD. They had a transformer fall from a pole. Happens a lot. My question and the chair's question was, why are we getting notified a month later? Clearly, there's wetlands across the street and in proximity to where this entrance was. So I reached out to Joe Gemello, who runs the LSP operation that deals with RMLD. Sorry, everybody, for the acronyms, but
It's a licensed site.
licensed site professional, yeah.
Professional.
And so Joe said he didn't realize that there were wetlands there. And long and short of it is, it's part of what his due diligence is supposed to be. That's, I mean, he's a licensed site professional. These guys go in lieu of DEP. They are, you know, for less better term, they're blessed by DEP to act on their behalf, and they're totally trusted. And so I just brought that to his attention. He apologized and said that that is not how they operate. And he just said that that won't happen in the future. So I think that,
One thing I want to add,
sure.
you knew there'd be something. It is bad enough that conservation wasn't notified, but in the end, when Chuck actually was told, it was indirect. Health Department actually is the one who told Chuck. So it never, the light never dawned over Marblehead. And they didn't do it late, they didn't do it at all. The
Oh,
Health Department.
I
is
have to
doing it.
correct you. Our,
Okay,
our
fair
new
enough.
town manager was the one that made sure that all the departments
Right.
got that memo.
Thank you, Jay.
Yeah.
Okay, so to me, that's one step worse, but he is apologetic. He does say it won't happen again. From my,
And we've worked with him before, and he's called us on wetland issues. But I think to anyone that there was wetlands there, I mean, for sure. Certainly across the street, you couldn't drive down the street without seeing them. But I'm satisfied.
yeah, so
I
I'd like to
hope the
consider
commission's
the
satisfied,
issue
and I-
closed unless somebody else has a disagreement with that.
What is Joe's position again?
I think he owns the company.
What company?
Oh, you're gonna ask me? I brought the
Or-
paperwork. It's like Gemello and Wheeler. I'll look for the email. Now, I did send
Cushing,
you
Gemello, and Wheeler.
all this information.
Cushing,
You're
Gemello,
asking
and
me,
Wheeler.
and you got,
Okay,
so hold on.
that's all right.
Cushing, is that what it was?
Cushing, Gemello, and Wheeler.
Thank you, Tim.
I'm just thinking for the sake of the minutes,
Yeah. that's
who
what I
this
figured.
person is who's never gonna let it happen again.
Yes.
And it's not an RMLD employee, it's a,
It's a subcontractor that manages all the transmission,
It's like a Clean Harbors,
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah.
just a different.
comes in and takes
Okay.
care of that. Anytime
Probably a
one
lot
of
cheaper.
these transformers falls off the line, they have to come in and take care of it.
Okay.
So,
Okay, we can put that one to rest then, and we
Thank
can
you.
move on to minutes for approval.
we didn't get any since the last meeting, but we had two that came out right before the
So the
last
first
meeting.
two we can vote on. So can I have a motion to approve the minutes for January 28th?
Motion to approve the minutes for January 28th.
Walter Talbot seconds that motion. Walter Talbot's in favor.
All in favor?
Rick Keo in favor.
Xerox Liquor in favor.
Martha Moore in favor?
Brian Bowe in favor. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes for February 11th?
Motion to approve the minutes for February 11th.
Walter Talbot's in favor. Walter Talbot seconds that motion. Walter Talbot's in favor of the motion.
Michelle in favor.
Rick Keo in favor.
Xerox Liquor in favor.
Martha Moore in favor.
Brian Bowe in favor. That would have been a good time to say so moved. It was so straightforward. Okay, that's it for tonight's business. In my email, I had recommended that people spend some time reading that 1058-5. As you can see, it has come up, it will come up again. Reading is a river-rich environment because the streams count as rivers, perennial streams. So it's something that you should be familiar with. And one thing so that's fine. So I just wanted to make sure that you took that seriously. Having said that, kind of a motion to adjourn at
Chuck, what did you volunteer us for?
8:36.
Well, so the question, what's that?
You volunteered us for something in May.
I did, didn't I?
Did.
Oh,
June.
Friends and
June.
Family Day?
Friends and Family Day,
Oh,
yeah,
June 20th, I think.
yeah.
Good catch.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, so we're in the process of signing up. Do you think there's enough people to go that day? It's, 10 to, what is it, 10 to 1 or 2 or something like that?
10 to 3:30, I think I just read that thing.
And so usually Brian stays there the whole day, but maybe,
Josh, how'd
maybe
you
if
do
other
on this
people
day?
show up, it can be, we can split it up between 4 people or so.
yeah.
It's usually the Saturday where it's beautiful out and you wanted to go somewhere else, and that's just how it is. But it's exciting. If
Actually,
you
no.
like people asking you questions as a town official,
It often has rained and we were cowering under the tent.
One time the tent blew over.
All right, before
Oh.
we turn this
So-
into a laugh fest, I just wanted to.
I'm willing to put a couple of hours in.
Great,
Anybody else?
yeah, and yep.
I can
So
help.
Can't commit to that week.
the other thing we want to do is to make sure we have stuff for people to attract them. Like one time we had a turtle, another time we brought invasives.
Martha has some
I
things
did a
to
wetland in a
entertain
bottle
kids.
once. I hadn't done that in a long time, wetland in a bottle. We were gonna do a solar oven, but I actually had to get a health permit. And so I nixed that idea. God, this was several years ago, but, so things like that, if you could think of some interactive something or other, it's usually works out pretty well. There's a lot of kids around, there's a lot of adults. Kids can do something while the parents ask us questions about their property or other properties. And then we have a sign up for volunteers to do work, either in a wetland close to them or if they want to be on any kind of list. And we'd have our own list and we'd have the volunteer list for the Trails Committee and who will also be there, and Town Forest Committee.
We also always have a large scale map of Reading showing the various conservation areas, green space in general, but the conservation
The
areas.
Arbor Tree Fund donate seed?
Did-
Is it the Arbor Tree Fund?
So
Day?
that's,
Is it Arbor Day?
so the Ipswich River watershed, is that what it is? That Ipswich River, so the Watershed Association did donate some seed to the town forest for Arbor Day, if that's what you're talking about. Yeah, so I got an email and it was Kim Honigschlager, who was, our old GIS, Will Finch's. So anyways, the seed's fine, they're gonna cast it out, and so that was all approved.
But there's also, in conjunction with the library, there's an effort to plant some trees. This would be their second year doing it.
Yep, and they
April
need
20
volunteers,
April
so
25th.
Yeah, so
come on down.
Library is also doing some Green Community Day.
I saw that. Does anyone want to show up for Green Community Day? They're asking to come on down and,
Thursday, the 18th, from 6 to 8.
I can probably do that. I have to get on my calendar, but
There also is a buckthorn pulling this Saturday.
what? I can't, what'd you say? What?
Buck, where?
All over that.
At the town
Town
forest.
forest.
I've been home
Do you
Sunday.
have
Just
hours?
anywhere? Or what do you mean?
Smell. That's, they just said they're gonna pull.
Okay.
Showered.
Did they give you any hours when they were planning that?
I don't know the answer.
So look on the Town Forest website if you're interested in the buckthorn pulling this Saturday.
Buckthorn Pulling contest.
Yeah.
So you said you could do Thursday, the 18th
Yeah.
at the
So what this
library.
one is, in the community room, there's a number of different organizations. We haven't typically had a lot of traffic from outside people, but it's been a good place for us to talk to other like-minded organizations in town, so. It's useful to go to, and it's relatively short.
Should we sign up for that?
If enough people go, when was it again?
It's Thursday, the 18th from 6 to 8.
I can't make Thursdays. I have to take my
So,
order to.
so 6:20, me, Rick and Sharad can do. 6:18, Brian can do.
So 18th of which
4/18.
month?
No, it's June.
Oh, it's June.
They're both
Okay,
June.
That makes sense.
I don't know, they're 2 days apart. I don't know why they're so
Well,
close
the
together.
20th is a Saturday, right?
Yeah,
So the
20th
18th
is
is
Saturday,
Thursday.
18th is Thursday evening. They usually provide pizza
All right.
for those who eat pizza. I can
Um,
also probably.
I can tell you
What time
on
is
the
that?
part of
18th,
it.
I
6
will-
to 8.
I'm not available. I have another meeting in my own town to go to.
Okay, so not Chuck, not Chirag.
Or 18th.
Yeah.
The 18th isn't going to work for me, but I could probably swing the 20th.
Okay,
And one suggestion for that would probably be invasive identification, since we're doing a lot of that with town forest, and it's a question that comes up regularly for conservation. At least I've seen that in my neighborhood. Maybe we can just have some signage for that, so I can sync offline.
you know those brochures my environmental club kids made that we printed some out about invasive species? Maybe we
We
could put
still
some
have
of
those,
those out.
yeah.
I don't know that I have any hard copies, but I think if I can dig out the electronic copy, maybe you could print some for us?
Sure. That's
We do
easy.
have a number of different books on various topics that occasionally hold somebody's interest. Okay, we finally ready to adjourn.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we
Yep,
got everything. on
we have
the
a
table.
motion to adjourn at 8:43. All in
Second.
favor, say aye.
Aye.
I didn't second it.
I know.
I did. I did. I jumped on board.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.